Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. For this week's video, I wanted to dedicate this entire video about something that I've been wanting to talk about for a while, and that is the reality of starting a YouTube channel with a full-time job. I've been wanting to talk about this and I feel like it is the perfect time to do so because it has officially been a year since I posted my first YouTube video, and I feel like I've learned so much through this past year that I would love to share with anybody out there that's looking to start a channel and would just want to know what life is like when you have a full-time job and you're trying to start a channel. So some things that I wanted to cover on this video that I feel like is important is just my typical work week, what it looks like juggling both my full-time job as well as starting a YouTube channel, some pros and cons of starting a YouTube channel from my own experience, and some things that I wish I would have done differently over the past year, some things that I've learned over the past year. I'm just really hoping that some of this information might be useful for any of you guys out there that are looking to start a channel. So I guess the best way to kind of break this down for you guys is to just go through each day of the week and what that kind of looks like for me. The weekends are pretty much the only times of the week that I have enough time to film, get ready, get in the mental space to film, put on makeup, because I never put on makeup throughout the week because your girl's lazy. Typically, I spend my Saturdays and Sundays filming depending on what kind of content it is. Sometimes I do like spend the weekend with me where I'll be filming all weekend. Sometimes I'll be cooking all weekend. And then sometimes I'm just having a chat like this on a Sunday afternoon. It does take some time to prepare for that. For example, today, I didn't want to just come not prepared because I feel like I wanted to be very intentional about the things that I talked about in this video. So it does take some time to prepare for that. Now let's get into the work week. So my 9 to 5 is a true 9 to 5. I work about 8 to 9 hours a day. I absolutely love my career, but I will say that it does take a lot of mental bandwidth because I'm using my brain all day, so I do come home pretty tired. Once I do get home around like 7 p.m. or so, I typically make dinner, hang with Christian for a couple hours, and by like 9 p.m. I am in the office editing my videos from about 9 p.m. through 2 or 3 a.m. depending on like if I'm in the zone or not. I do that pretty much Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and sometimes it might bleed into some parts of Thursday. When I first started all of this, I had zero experience with editing, with knowing anything about this world, with like how to use cameras, how to use editing software. All of this was extremely new for me, and I am completely self-taught. It takes me a really long time to edit, so I don't know if it's normal to be spending like 15 to 20 hours a week on editing each video, but that is how long it takes me after a year of learning to create one video each week. A lot of times I will be done by Wednesday and I will post my video on every Thursday. I will usually have Fridays off from YouTube, and I get to go hang with friends on Fridays, hang out with my husband, hang out with myself. But yeah, Fridays are usually my off days with YouTube. So as I was coming up with what I thought were pros and cons, I had so many pros and I really boiled it down to 3 things. The first and most important one being that I get to document my life. If any of you guys know me, you know that I'm the type of person that loves to reminisce. I have so many photos and videos, it's just all of this stuff that I love to look back and reminisce on. I've watched so many of my videos over and over again because I did a lot of really fun things last year. I got married last year. I filmed my bachelorette, I filmed my bridal shower, I filmed my wedding, and I'm so happy that I have these videos to look back on, and I wish I would have done it sooner. The next pro is the fact that I get to be creative. I grew up playing instruments my entire life. Ever since I moved to LA about 10 years ago, I no longer have my piano here. I really haven't activated that creative side of my brain just because the things that I usually do in my day-to-day life don't really require any like artsy creativity. But through this, I get to film certain cool shots that I want to do and include in my videos, and I get to spend so many hours of my day editing, which I feel like does take a little bit of creativity to do. Overall, I've been just so much happier utilizing that part of my brain, and it's been super, super fun. So the last pro that I wanted to touch on, I have been able to fulfill my passions outside of work. My full-time job is extremely fulfilling in such a different way. I'm in mortgage, so essentially I get to work with people purchasing their first home. There's such a fulfilling aspect in that because it's one of the few most monumental times in people's lives, and I get to be a part of helping people achieve that. In that aspect, it's extremely fulfilling for me. So many of us are raised through school or through parents that you need to chase your dreams, you need to do what you're passionate about as your career, which yes, my 9 to 5, I'm super passionate, I'm super fulfilled by it. But in terms of like this artsy, creative, fun stuff that, you know, a lot of people wish to do in their lives as their career, it doesn't necessarily have to be your 9 to 5. You can still fulfill these passions outside of work, and it's just as fun. Yeah, maybe you're doing it for free, but it's still something that's so rewarding. I just feel like that's a big pro for me personally in terms of creating a YouTube channel. I think the biggest con that stuck out to me is you lose a lot of your free time. I truly feel like I have no social life ever since I've been kind of honing in and focusing on my channel, and that's okay. But I think that going into it, for some people, you need to realize that in order to be consistent, you have to give something. And if you're not fortunate to be able to just pursue YouTube full time, it is going to take a lot of your time if you're working a 40-hour work week, because this is also going to take like 40 hours of your week. Whether if it's actually editing, filming, or you know, just coming up with ideas throughout the week that you want to film, you're just constantly thinking about it. So you will most likely not have a life if you're somebody like me. Another huge con that I have noticed over the past year, you're not as present. Once again, depending on the type of content that you create, there's just moments where you're like, ooh, I want to get this really cool shot, so let's take a few steps back and refilm us walking on here. For some people, that might be annoying in terms of like your friends or your family. I think I'm very fortunate to have a husband that's extremely supportive and is a huge fan of YouTube and just kind of understands the ins and outs of creating things like that. And he's always willing to film and be in these clips with me, which I really do appreciate. For example, when Christian and I went to Big Bear, we were walking down the lake and I was like, oh, this would be a really cool scene. Let me go set up my camera. Let's walk back and let's walk again. It's like you're taking yourself out of that moment of being present to film these clips and then jumping back into being present. And I think that finding that fine line of being able to balance both is really hard, and it took me a while, but I feel like I'm finally getting that. It's a huge sacrifice that you have to make in order to find that balance. This last con is something that I try my best to not think about that much. Call me stupid for doing this, but putting these videos out, I know that these videos are visible to everyone in this entire world, and there's an aspect of that where you just lose your privacy. I currently have like 300 subscribers, and I'm pretty sure that 300 of those subscribers are probably people that I know that are my family and friends. So it's not weird for me at all, because I know that at this point, I know that it's mostly people in my life that are watching these videos. It's definitely something to think about if you're one of those people that want to start a YouTube channel, because your stuff is out on the internet and that is the reality. The biggest thing that I've learned in this past year, really learning how to prioritize things while starting a YouTube channel. My mindset when I jumped into starting a channel, I was so excited to do this because it's something that I've been wanting to do for so many years. It was all I could think about, it was all I could talk about, and it was just constantly on my mind. When I first started it, like anything, it was just the #1 priority for me. In the past 6 months or so, I really learned how to find a balance with that, because in the first 6 months I was, it was taking me longer to edit these videos and taking a lot more time. Now I take about like 15 hours or so to edit each video, but before it took me like almost double the time to really understand and like watch a YouTube video of how to do this on each little thing that I did in Final Cut Pro. I would notice that when I came home from my job, I would eat and then just jump right onto the computer and start editing. Sometimes I would be up till like 4:30 a.m., wake up at 7 the next morning to go to work, and I would be so lethargic, so slow, and I just wasn't on it, and it was affecting my work. At the end of the day, just really learning that priority and knowing like YouTube comes second to my work, YouTube comes second to my relationship, YouTube comes second to my mental health. Yeah, it's interesting. One thing I do regret from 2023 is that I was not that consistent. I told myself going into this when I first started that I would post a video every week. You know, some weeks I would come up with excuses that, oh, well, work is a little bit busy this week. I can just skip this week and post the week after. But then that would turn into like 3 weeks later. I ended 2023 with only posting, I think it's like 21 videos. There's 52 weeks in a year, and I started in February. So I should easily have at least like, what? 45 videos, but I had less than half of that. So the last thing in terms of reflections that I feel like is really important to touch on this, because I think that this is a reality of what a lot of people are going to go through when starting a YouTube channel. If you are the vast majority of the normal people in this world, when you first start a channel, you're not going to see your channel grow quickly. I have been creating videos for a year now, and I am at about 300 subscribers. When you're out in the real world and you meet people and they ask you what you've been up to, or you know what you do for fun, and I say that I create YouTube videos, I psych myself out a little bit, because I think that like, yeah, these people probably are looking me up after we meet, or after we catch up after not talking for years, or, you know, some friends from high school that I haven't seen in years that are seeing me posted on my story. Like, I think that there's a level of embarrassment and shame of not having these thousands of subscribers that I envisioned myself to have when I first started. It's like a level of pride and a level of embarrassment that I would feel sometimes when I would share it. So I a lot of times wouldn't tell people like, oh yeah, I started a YouTube channel. Or if I did, I would say like, oh, I started a YouTube channel, but like I just started and I don't have that many subscribers, because I was embarrassed. I feel like only I can define my success in terms of how my channel is going by the amount of energy that I've been putting into it, how proud I feel of myself for the type of videos that I've been creating. Literally, it doesn't matter what other people think, because this journey has been so fun for me, and that's all that matters. For any of you guys out there that are looking to start a channel, just do it, and in the process of doing it, just create videos for yourself, because at the end of the day, that's who you're creating it for, and the rest doesn't matter. Got a little vulnerable there, but I felt like it was worth mentioning, because most people will not see their channels grow quickly, and that is the reality of it, and that is okay. Having a full-time job and starting a YouTube channel is no joke. It is going to take a lot of time, a lot of patience, and a lot of energy for you to do it, because you essentially have 2 full-time jobs. And learning that balance of knowing what your priorities are and knowing that at the end of the day, your full-time job is your #1 priority. I will say starting a YouTube channel for me has been so fulfilling, and I am so happy that I did it. So for any of you out there that are looking to start a channel, I hope at least one of you guys are inspired out there to do so. It's definitely not going to be easy, but it's definitely something that's worth it, because at the end of the day, if your channel has no success, you have these videos to look back on when you're 60 or 70, and you have stuff to share with your friends and your family and your future kids of what your life used to be like when you were 30 or 25 or 20. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video, and I hope that there's some of you out there that found some value in this. If you have any questions, of course, feel free to leave a comment below. I'd be happy to answer anything and share my experience with you guys. If you guys want to subscribe, please do. I have a goal that I've set for myself to getting to 500 subscribers by May, which is like a month. I am setting that goal for myself, so just don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you guys next week.